Well, hello to all spiritual seekers and meditators. We have another inner voice reading, so allow yourself to choose a pile and then receive your message. So, for those who chose pile 1, you chose the tarot card 8 of Wands. This is a card of rapid progress and clear communication. So the path is opening and movement is happening, whether you are ready or not. So now is the time to stay focused and just allow yourself to be carried forward. There may be breakthroughs happening or sudden decisions that you may take that will allow you to move forward in life. And additionally, you have the card of the archetype of a child representing nature. So this is the theme of innocence and of new beginnings. It's a return to the essential state of being. So the child is the seed of what it could be, and it reminds you to return to simplicity and to trust the world again. It also shows that a fresh chapter is opening and you are at the beginning stage of something. So try to remain open, not strategic, but curious. And this archetype can also invite you to shed societal roles, persona, and you also have the persona card in the reading, as we will see. So this is a card of returning to your natural self. And then we have the imagery of a hot air balloon. This combines actually two elements, the air and the fire. So the air represents mind and spirit and clarity, and fire is about transformation and passion. So this is a very uplifting symbol. It's associated with elevation, with a shift in perspective as you let go of everything that burdens you. It's about consciously ascending, going up, rising above. So it invites you to rise above problems, above emotional limitations and heaviness, and to see the bigger picture. And then, of course, we have the Five of Cups as the tarot card, as another tarot card in this reading. This is a card about regret and emotional burdens and emotional past that may still weigh you down. And in fact, it's a threshold card. It's between mourning and healing. So there is something that you mourn, that you need to heal. There is some loss maybe that you have experienced. And this card is very much tied to shadow work, like delving into your inner world, exploring your inner demons, inner pain, and then thereby inviting like a transformation or emotional alchemy. And then we have the Jungian archetype, the card of persona. Persona is a core concept in Jungian psychology. It refers to the social role or the face that we show to the world, that we wear in public. It's part of ourselves, but it's the part that we present to others. And oftentimes it's really constructed to meet the expectations of other people. And it's something that we learned to do from the very beginning of our life. We learned to put on masks and play certain roles that others wanted us to play, or that we thought would help us fit in, or maybe gain approval. So all these cards together, this reading is telling you that there is a very innocent, sweet, childlike part of you that is ready to rise, like this hot air balloon that is ready to be unburdened by past, by regrets. And there may still be some emotional pain from some grief or disappointment or some loss, which is symbolized by the Five of Cups. And perhaps there is something in you that no longer feels authentic. And now you're being pushed to a sudden change. You're being urged to move forward. So you are a child full of wonder, ready to rise above anything that was holding you down. So this is the reminder to rise above your challenges, shift your viewpoint, and become more liberated and step into a new version of yourself. Maybe you discover that the identity you once clung to is breaking apart or transforming, or it's no longer aligned with who you are becoming. So there is a child within that yearns for freedom, and it is a time for you to go into life with curiosity and adventure and embrace what is happening, embrace what lies ahead. And those who chose the pile 2, here is the message for you. First, you chose the card of the Emperor. This is the archetype of structure and stability and control. So he is like the father figure. He is the protector. He builds empires. And if you are dealing with relationships right now, this energy can be someone who is very protective and traditional, but also emotionally guarded. This may be someone in your life, or it could be you, that you've learned to protect yourself by staying in control, by staying strong, by holding it all together. And then we have Don Juan. So this archetype is the emotional seducer. He is a very charismatic performer. He knows how to make you feel like the center of the world. He can shower you with attention. He can clearly and openly show his desire for you, but as things get deeper, he becomes more distant. So perhaps, are you engaging with someone who is acting this way, who is more charm than commitment? Or perhaps it is you who is avoiding true intimacy and you remain in the role of the lover, the caretaker, or the ideal partner. So maybe this is a question that you need to ask yourself, especially when we see the presence of the next card, the roadblocks. Roadblocks, they mean confusion and delays. They can also mean mixed signals. But in the inner work, roadblocks are in fact guardians. They're the challenges that test your readiness to transform. It is not a stopping sign, it is a sign to pause and to reflect. Because there is something deeper that needs to be seen. So it's a kind of an invitation to shift your approach, to reconsider. And then we have 10 of Wands. This is the card of carrying too much, often alone. And in relationships, this can be the emotional labor, then the responsibilities that you've taken on, and the roles that you've taken on, and perhaps you've outgrown these roles. Perhaps it's you who is holding it all together, who is giving and trying to take care of things and trying to maybe perhaps salvage the relationship or playing the emotional caretaker for the other, but this is extremely exhausting. And perhaps you're carrying burdens and responsibilities and even emotions that are not even yours. So this card is a call to put something down, to unburden yourself, to not assume responsibilities that aren't yours, whether it be in relationships or in professional relationships or just in general in your life. And then we have the Hero card. This is the part of you that chooses growth and not escape. This is your inner warrior. This is the part of you that faces the shadow, that is ready to rise, even when things are hard. So if you have to let go of who you were to become who you are meant to be, this is the part of you who is ready to do that. And this card says that you will overcome this challenge. You are going to become victorious. So if there is a big challenge or something difficult that you're dealing with in your life right now, this card promises that you will overcome this and circumstances will shift for the better. And this is in fact the call to choose your authentic power, to be who you are, which is not always easy. We assume the masks and the roles because it's easy. They helped us survive, and sometimes to throw off the masks makes us feel too vulnerable, too exposed. But this in fact is a situation where you need to let go of this control. Maybe it connects with the man in your life, starting with that Emperor. It may even concern your father figure, all male figures in your life, or if you are a male, your own role as a man, and inviting you to be more vulnerable, to be more open, and not to rely on your charisma and charm. So this is a kind of tension between being loved and being real, between carrying all the burden and allowing yourself to be supported. Maybe there is someone in your life who is deeply attractive, deeply magnetic, but perhaps emotionally evasive. And whatever the case, you're being called to let go of this weight, to face the truth, and become your own hero. So thank you for watching, and see you next time. Hello and a warm welcome to those who chose pile 3. This is your message. So you chose the Fool card. This card represents new beginnings and trust and innocence, and also the risk and chaos and vulnerability when we are stepping into the unknown. It carries the number 0, so it exists outside of other sequenced cards, and it shows the beginning before the beginning. It's the beginning before the number 1. So this is the soul before it assumes any kind of identity. And the destination is uncertain with the Fool, yet he trusts. So this card shows that you are at the start of a journey, or of a life phase, and everything is full of potential. It is a kind of a card of a fresh start, and it invites you to have an empty mind, an open mind, like a beginner, just to go forward without baggage. And then we have the lover archetype, which is all about union and desire. This is about longing for oneness. It may be through intimacy or spiritual connection, or just about devotion and spiritual longing. It is about uniting masculine and feminine, soul and body, self and other. It's about union. And it can represent inner marriage. So this is the harmony between the feeling mind and the thinking mind. And then we have number 5. Number 5 is about change and instability. It disrupts the stability of 4. 4 represents solid foundation. And number 5 introduces movement and chaos. And of course, it brings new possibilities. It opens the rigid structure of the 4. And it's a midpoint. It's between 1 and 10. So it's a midpoint. It's not the beginning, it's not the end. It's the tension of growth. And it symbolizes the traveler. It wants new experiences. It wants expansion, even at the cost of comfort. So, and also in the human nature, we have 5 fingers, we have 5 toes, 5 senses, 5 limbs, head and 4 limbs. And then we have body, mind, and soul, which can be working together or being in disharmony. And the pentagram, 5-pointed star, symbolizes the balance of human form and spirit. So the upright pentagram represents spirit ruling over the 4 elements: earth, water, fire, and air. And on the other hand, when the pentagram is inverted, it symbolizes disorder or materialism, overpowering the spirit. And then we have the Tower card, the Tower struck by lightning. And also this card represents a structure, which it may be a belief, a relationship, or an identity that once seemed solid and now it's falling apart. We discovered that it was built on a shaky ground. And the Tower card is about awakening to something true, so that the ego is crushing down. This is this is a card of the mind. Mind is falling apart. The mind patterns are falling apart. So it can show up in unexpected events. It can be something external, like a breakup, some kind of an awakening, or maybe something internal, some kind of a truth that is revealed and the ego collapses. And it is a painful card to go through. It can be very shocking. It can be very, very shattering. But after, there is clarity and you are free. In Jungian terms, it means the persona, so that is the false self that we present to the world. The self, which is not our true self, but it is the role that we are playing, is cracking. This is the Tower moment. The persona is cracking, and then the true self, authentic self, can emerge. And this can also be part of the midlife crisis, when we need to really reinvent our life or discover what was truly happening and what lies beneath all our roles and duties and responsibility that we assumed. And also it can mean deep shadow work, Tower. And shadow work, working with our inner demons, fears and challenges, can be extremely disruptive for our life, but very necessary. And then we have the poet archetype, which is the symbol of an artist, of somebody who translates the stirrings of the soul, the one who gives voice to the invisible, to something emotional. It can be a very emotional person, and you may be dealing with someone who is very emotional, or it may be that you are the one who is extremely in tune with feelings, and you know how to tell the truth about feelings or experiences that other people ignore or suppress. You also may be very much connected to the subconscious or dreams. And this is the somebody who reveals what is felt. So it's a kind of a person who moves between light and shadow, who turns pain into art, who is very much connected to everything, to the big whole that surrounds him or her. What is happening to you now, it may be a journey of awakening. There is something that is in you that is very much wild and free. You are standing at the edge of something new. Something is pulling you forward. It may be a person as a lover, maybe a true lover, or maybe it may be just a longing for union, for beauty. There is something in you that wants to be deeply, deeply known and understood. And perhaps you have been dealing with a person who has been stirring all these feelings in you. But there is something disruptive happening. There we have this number 5, the energy of change and challenge. And what you have known is disrupted. You are pushed into discomfort. And it is pushing you to grow, but there is a kind of a conflict or friction happening. Something may have shifted, something you believed in, maybe a relationship, maybe a person, maybe a dream, has begun to collapse, and it feels like a big loss. But in fact, what is emerging, what is happening, what is coming out is your true soul. Because what falls away, what crumbles was never meant to last. Maybe this is the truth you're facing. So allow yourself to feel it and use your language, use your art. You can take your pain and turn it into light. Just observing what is happening and letting it touch you deeply. Because usually what happens is with pain, it cracks us open. And it's needed. It's needed. So be gentle with yourself on this journey. It is beginning of a new chapter. It's not the end of your story, and just allow yourself to live it with all your heart and express it.